Assuming one day a person opens their phone and starts to browse Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. They see that the hashtag climate change is trending. They decide to click on it and see what all the fuss is about. They're greeted with images like this. These images are undoubtedly concerning and compelling. However, they leave the person slightly confused. This person doesn't know the whole story or the specifics of this issue. At one point, I found myself in a similar position. However, after intense research on the subject of climate change, I came to a simple conclusion. As climate change stems from human activity, its effects will reach various socioeconomic statuses of human society. I came to this conclusion through the discovery of two key phenomena that I will just explain in greater detail throughout this speech. The first reveals that human activity and subsequent greenhouse gas emissions act as a significant cause of climate change. The second of which expresses that the effects of climate change will impact various socioeconomic statuses in their own way. In order to understand these effects, however, the sources must first be explained. As described by the United Nations, greenhouse gases keep some of the sun's warmth from escaping back into space. As such, greenhouse gases act as a sort of blanket around the Earth, encapsulating heat in the lower levels of our atmosphere and causing the average global temperature to rise. These gases are produced naturally through ruminant digestion, respiration, and volcanoes. However, in regards to human influence, NASA stated, over the last century, the burning of fossil fuels like coal and oil have increased the concentration of atmospheric greenhouse gases. To a lesser extent, the clearing of land for agriculture, industry, and other human activities have led to an increase in greenhouse gases. Moreover, according to the UN's panel on climate change, there's a better than 95% probability that human-produced greenhouse gases, such as carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and chlorofluorocarbons, have caused much of the observed increase in the Earth's temperature over the past 50 years. These truths illustrate that the rising average global temperature remains a result of human activity and the subsequent greenhouse gas emissions. And the rising concentration of greenhouse gas emissions brings about the effects of climate change. These effects will span the globe, impacting various socioeconomic statuses in their own way. As a result of the variability of the weather effects of climate change, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the UN stated that tropical regions are expected to experience a deterioration in agricultural yields and income. Temperate regions, their yields are expected to actually have an increase or decrease slightly in these yields. As a result of this agricultural variability, there will be a provocation of indirect effect on urban communities. In regards to food security, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the UN explained that urban, poor consumers are threatened if the food prices were to rise in order to reflect both the impact of climate change or if the true cost of food was adjusted to reflect environmental concerns. In addition, the aforementioned weather variability would have a significant effect on poor urban households as they do not possess the resources to proactively protect against or later cope with these weather shocks. In contrast, members of the upper class will be able to use their assets and resources to protect themselves against these effects of climate change. Firstly, the spike in food prices would not affect them as it did the poor communities, as they possess immense monetary resources to cope with this. Similarly, these monetary resources would protect them against the weather effects, as displayed by previous extreme weather events. Journalist Benjamin Powers reported, according to numerous outlets, private sector security guards were flown into the wealthiest neighborhoods of New Orleans following Hurricane Katrina. David Reagan, the commander of operations in this town, refused to say how many men he had at that time, but indicated that it was in the hundreds. As this situation following Hurricane Katrina displays, those of the upper class possess the necessary resources to protect themselves against the weather effects of climate change, in addition to the ensuing adversity, whereas poor urban communities do not possess these resources. These real-life occurrences, facts, and statistics presented throughout this speech have culminated to underscore two main truths. One, climate change is accumulated as a result of human activity and the subsequent greenhouse gas emissions. Two, the change within the Earth's climate will affect various socioeconomic statuses from the rich to the poor in their own way. Now, with these truths in mind, the next time you or I, or that imaginary person from the introductions, opens their phone to see that hashtag climate change is trending, they will understand what signs like these are striving to articulate. They will understand the specifics of the issue, the whole story, the truth behind this marker and this cardboard. And with that, you may now understand just a little bit more about our great Earth.
Very good.